That's just the same thing in football. If you show me bad football players, I'll show you a couple bad coaches. So it's all about who is showing you how to win. Who is showing you how to get to the point you're trying to get? Like, things are never as good as you think they are, and they're never as bad as you think they are. But when you got some people that's gonna lay the plan out and say, this is how we're gonna get from A to B to C, and you believe in the things that they're talking about, now it cranks you up. And I'm sure when Peters looked at this team and seen $70 million cap room, the number 2 pick, 2 second-round picks, I can make this team in my image. I can make this team whatever I want to do. So I think right now, it's just exciting to be a Washington fan because everything is new. We got new ownership, new head coaches, new assistant coaches. We're about to have a new quarterback maybe. We're about to have a lot of new players. So I find it energetic. I find it fun because for a long time, it feels like we were stuck in this rut. And everybody was just waiting on us to fail. But right now, it's like the world is waiting on us to succeed, to get back to glory. Like Doc Walker say, hashtag back to glory. So I think it could happen.
No, I love, let's clap it up for that. I mean, you talk about, you feel the energy, right? Going through, you both have gone through coaching changes in your career.
Lots of them.
Yeah. What's that?
That mean we were bad players, huh?
What is that like? Just from the energy, right? Like what's that feel like in the locker room?
I mean, honestly, one, you're kind of happy half of the time because whatever transpired to have this happen, meaning that it's out with the old and with the new. So hopefully that's bringing new energy, bringing you a chance to have success. But two, you're not always promised your spot. So now it's like this new regime coming in, they telling you, let's just talk about when Mike Shanahan got here. I remember it was late in the season. I had just talked to Dan in 2008. He was in Miami for something. I don't know what was going on in Miami, but I was at a party of his in Miami. He said, next year we're gonna do your contract. So they talking about re-ing up. And 2009, the season went to craps, and in comes Shanahan late in the season. And, out the gate, first thing he tell me, I think my agent or someone called him. He's like, well, I don't know if he's going to make my team next year. So I'm like, make your team. But at the same time, he's supposed to say that, because he's supposed to play hardball. Also, he was the head coach and the GM, basically. He was calling, he was paying, he was hiring, firing, doing all that stuff. So, okay, as a player like myself looking at that, no sweat. I'm going to go out there and show you better than I can tell you. That next year, I end up having a knee surgery. So now I'm definitely not sure if I'm going to get this deal. But the reason why I'm telling you this story, long story short, when you have that coming in, it's like you're starting all over. These guys have to get to know who you are as a player. They're not going to just come in and say, well, I like you from back then, I like you, and we're going to pay you, and we're going to keep you. They want to bring in new blood, too. They want to bring in the guys that's going to fit what they're trying to do. So, as a player, to have to adapt to that, it takes something out of you. And it takes a little bit for you to go dig deep and say, okay, now I got to show them all over again why I'm here. So I saw myself doing that a lot after, different coaching staffs. And then my last year here, we had Jay Gruden. And I only had 1 year here. But that example, that 1 year was like my most trying year. Because here I am, year 14. I'm not asking for nothing. I'm here for a reason. Give me a chance to play. Give me a chance to go out here and compete. But like I said, he don't owe me anything. He don't know me from nothing. All he can tell you is what I know from his early years. But he wanted his other guys to play. And I remember hearing my name saying like, oh, well, Tanner's on the bubble. How? I'm at least top 3 guy, wide receiver on this team. But that's because this guy have his own plans, his own guys he want to bring in. So it's trying, it's challenging, but if you're a player that, especially when you've been around here long enough, made it in this league, you'll find a way. But more so than just individually, you hoping that new coach bring in that energy so the team can be a better team, not just you having individual, success.
And it also messes with your ego a little bit because you got to realize if a coach get fired, we did it.
Yeah.
We got him fired. Somewhere along the line, we went all as a group doing something right. So think about it if y'all got y'all boss fired. When you look at yourself and be like, hey, We stink. Oh, y'all would? You would? You be like, get him out of there.
Their job a lot different from mine.
So y'all gonna look in the mirror with no shame.
What they do at work don't got nothing to do with them, huh?
Well, I know not to talk to y'all bosses then. I know how y'all.
For all my staff in the room, don't listen to me.
Oh man.
That's good. That's good stuff. Yeah, let's keep the boss conversation going. All right, so Fred, look, you talked a little bit about energy there. We all saw. If you haven't seen Coach Quinn's press conference, like you can feel the energy and the intensity from him. Like he's a football coach, right? What what thoughts on what Coach is going to bring to this team?
You know what? I hit my knees and started praying and I cried. Because, everybody wanted Ben Johnson. I was like, nah, I don't know if he can lead men. Like, the one thing about it is, if I tell you want your military to be strong, you're going to say, who's the general? Who is leading these guys? And when we got Dan Quinn, I was telling people, calm down. We got a better coach than y'all think. And realize this, he's a Super Bowl coach. He's been to the Super Bowl. And then they like, no, he's a retread. Well, that means Belichick was a retread. Well, that means Andy Reid was a retread. All right? The one thing you learn is when you fail, you learn more from failure from when you succeed. All right? And the first thing I heard from him was, you know what, my first time, now I learned this, I learned that. I won't do that again. Like sometimes, like my grandma say, sometimes a kid gotta touch the fire. You tell him it's hot all the time, but until he touch it for himself, he can't learn from himself.
My daughter did that the other day. Got a burnt finger.
Now, how many times did you tell her don't touch that fire?
So many times.
But when you learn that lesson for yourself, and he had to go through that. He had to go through that humility, and he had, and I know he said in the back of his head, when I get that next chance. When I get that next chance. And what I see him doing so far is he putting together an all-star coaching staff. And when you put together a group of guys, and somebody gonna come cherry pick these guys, but they can only do that if you have success. That's the great thing about it. And think about this. He knows everything about the Dallas Cowboys. Do y'all understand that? He knows all their strengths. He knows all their weaknesses. He coached against the Eagles 2 times a year. Do y'all know that? We also stole their offensive coordinator. All right? Do you understand he played against the Giants too? He knows how to beat these guys. So you're talking about a guy that's going to activate. Like I always ask people, when you play in sports, your best player and your best coach has to be a force multiplier. That means they're making a lot of people around them better. We just watched Pat Mahomes win a Super Bowl. Who was his wide receiver? Didn't need him. Made them all better. So that's the thing that Coach Quinn has the ability to do. He can make these men want to run through a brick wall for him, and that's what you want. All I can ask for is all the effort in the world. It's the coach's job to put us in positions to succeed. Because I could compare it to when I had good coaching with Coach Gibbs, or when I had not so good coaching with Coach Zorn. The team was in 2 different directions, and it's all because of the leadership. So we should all be happy about Coach Quinn.
That's awesome. Good transition to my next question. For both of you, I'm going to hit both of your respective positions that you played, but I'll start with Santana. Obviously, coaching, huge part of people being successful, right? The players being successful on the field. Let's talk a little bit about Jahan, right? Had a really strong rookie year. Has an opportunity now to take a big leap in year 3, right? Year 2 didn't probably go as he wanted. Bobby Ingram staying on as wide receivers coach, but we've got, obviously, as Fred mentioned, a ton of new coaches, an opportunity for a new offense with Cliff Kingsbury. Like, what are you expecting out of Jahan specifically this year?
Well, I don't want to sit here and do what we did last year. Yeah. We saw how things, we expected big things from him last year. Yeah. But that happens. Yeah. It happens more than what we realize in this league. And I've been one of those receivers where it's not necessarily him individually, because you saw the talent in practice, you saw him out there in games, but it's just how you run your offense. Yeah. Maybe he's not into to the progression all the time. Maybe he might be an offense where, especially last year, if you saw some of the things that they was going through, they learning new plays. Yeah. It's hard to learn that new offense and be come in those games and be